ओके, म्यूट कर दीजिए। हरे कृष्ण। तो वी आर सीइंग टुडे, yesterday we saw the importance of a human form of life, and we as humans, we need happiness. As much deer is always searching happiness within the fragrance, but he is unable to find it. Similarly, all of us, we search for happiness and we don't find it within us. We search it everywhere, and therefore we can get ultimate happiness when we question about life. Questions like why I'm suffering, what is the goal of life, and why I'm suffering. We undergo miseries like birth, old age, disease, and death. Birth, how it is a misery. A small child within a womb, it is kept inside the mother's womb for almost 9 months, 9 days. It has to eat there only. It has to pass urine and stool, something like that. There only, it is subjected to the gastric fire of mother. There's so many insects and germs which are trying to bite it there. Therefore, it becomes very difficult for its survival. So we can't even stay for 9 hours at one couch place with our head bent into our leg. But this is what the the baby undergoes. So therefore, when it comes outside the mother's womb, it never comes laughing. It comes crying outside. Oh my Lord! So that is the pitiable condition of the child. And then we saw what's the goal of life. The purpose of life is to make solution to the real problems of life. The real problem is nobody wants it. It is common to all, and nobody can avoid it. Then we saw that what is ultimate goal, what is our actual identity, the cage and the parrot. The parrot is there, the cage is there. If we simply polish the cage and parrot dies, so what is the point? Similarly, in our experience of life, most of the time we give so much importance to our own things and we keep aside the purpose of life. And therefore, it's very important for all of us to also make solutions for the purpose of life, problems of life, and solve the real problems and find the solution for the purpose of life. What is the actual purpose of life? To know who God is and how we revive a relationship with Him, by which we can get everlasting happiness. So happiness is not outside, happiness is inside. Then we saw the science of the introduction of soul in it, the story of Mahamurka, and then we are going to see the scientific proofs for existence of soul. Session. So, this is a topic. Yes, Sandipru, can you read this one? What is written?
Matter is dead, while soul is conscious. Thus, soul is superior to matter. God is master of both soul and matter.
Hmm. That is what we are seeing. Definition of MSc, master, spirit, and controller of both. So we can see this child, it is having a soul, it grows. But if you see this doll, it is simply a doll, it will remain like that forever. We'll be seeing in today's session. So when we ask this question, when we see ourselves in the mirror, or when we see someone And we ask the question, who are you? Who am I? So most of the time the answer is, okay, I am this body, I am my Vital or name, Vital from which country we belong to, Vital what is our designation, and so on things we continue. We start tagging ourselves so many designations. I'm an Indian, I'm an engineer, I'm a student, and my goal is this, other thing. Let's see what doctor has to say. Most of the human body, which we identified as a body, has all these chemicals. 5 ounces of this, calcium, 1.5 pound of phosphate, 9 ounces of potassium, 6 ounces of each sulfur, sodium, 1 ounce of magnesium, less than an ounce each of iron, copper, iodine. So that means the whole put together the whole chemicals when they cost around 110. That was long back, but right now it might be 1,100 rupees. So when a human being are very close, near and dear, and it should never happen with anyone, we compare this body, the manufacturing cost of this body from the material point of view is only 1,000 rupees if you take the chemicals analysis of it. As most of the people say, our body is just made of chemicals, it's anyway matter and matter come together, it produces life, something like that, life comes from matter. When this person was wearing a suit and boot, imagine he might be our dear friend and he's going in a BMW car worth 25-30 lakhs. He meets with a head-on collision with a big truck, and it's completely smashed, and he's bleeding there fully on the road. And when we come across such a person, you can ask this question to each one. We can ask this question to ourselves: what decision will take for him? Will we take the Mercedes Benz worth 25-30 lakh to the garage, or will we take this person to the hospital? Or if this person happens to be a very close relative of us and we have to make this choice, then surely we'll take this person to hospital, then the Mercedes Benz to the garage. First point we'll do is that we'll at least we'll take this person to the, we'll call ambulance, put him in the ambulance, send him to the hospital, and then we can think of what has to be done with the car. If he survives, then the thought of car comes into picture. So now the Mercedes Benz is worth 25-30 lakh, but the body is worth only 1,000 to 2,000 rupees. Why so much affection? Because there is something beyond matter which is existing inside this body. So now does that sound like all of us? So we can ask, so what is actual identity? Don't you feel we are much more than chemicals which constitute this body? Then what is our real identity? So our real identity is that we are something beyond this body. For example, we see many beautiful women sometimes they get a Miss Universe or they can be a beauty queen. When they get decorated, when they're dressed, they may look very, very beautiful. But after some time, where are the beauty queens of 1970, 1980s? After 40 years, they leave their body. And when they leave their body, the whole material composition of the body is same. But when the person dies, there is no feelings, there is no thinking, no desires, no moment, no consciousness. So what is the difference? Body is same, but according to Vedic texts, according to common sense, soul is gone. Similarly, Lord Shri Krishna told to Arjuna when this Bhagavad Gita, we're having a discussion Bhagavad Gita. So in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was telling to Arjuna, first whole chapter is just hearing Arjuna. And Arjuna being the commander-in-chief of the Pandavas team, he has to fight with Kauravas. And on the side of Pandavas there are 8 Akshani Senas. And on the Kauravas there are 12 Akshani Senas. And when Arjuna sees that his near and dear ones are all surrounded in Kurukshetra to wage a war, then immediately what happens to Arjuna is he becomes emotional. He thinks, how can I kill them? How can I fight with them? There is grandfather Bhishma, there is Kripa, there is Drona teacher, and there are cousins. It's better that I give up everything and I go. That time Krishna gave him this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. The first beginning knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is that you are not this body, you are soul. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. As bodies we take birth and we die. And the soul has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Bhagavad Gita 2.2. So this is the beginning discussion of Bhagavad Gita. You are able to see the spark which is moving through the whole body. And when you take a cloth may stay for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Once the cloth gets torn out, we get a new cloth. Similarly, the Mother Nature gives a cloth of body to different living beings based on their desires. And based on that, as soon as the cloth gets worn out, the soul gets another body. So what is the similarities between what if we make comparative analysis of body and soul? The body is made up of matter, and the soul is made up of spirit. Body is not conscious. We have learned in science that there is living and non-living objects. The living objects have conscious, the non-living objects are not conscious. Soul is conscious. The body changes. Soul doesn't change. It remains as it is. Body is temporary, but soul is eternal. That means it was never created. It never gets destroyed. It remains as it is forever. And body dies, but soul is always alive. And therefore, when you see the car, inside a car, there is a driver. And as soon as the car gets worn out, the driver takes a new car. And then but the driver takes a new car and continues driving. When we are going on a highway and our car is not working, then we go and sit in another car and we reach the destination. And later on we think of what to do with the car. Someone stays back and sends it to the garage. So similarly, we all of us are not the bodies that we see in the mirror. It's like a machine. The human body is like a machine. We're able to see behind the eyes there is lenses, there is whole neurosystem, there are there is lungs, and later on there is heart, and in the region of the heart, the soul is sitting along with the super soul. There's intestine, and we walk. So we are Atmas, the real driver of the body is Atma. So material viewpoint, what we have studied from childhood days, we are bodies made up of matter. What we are? We are bodies made up of matter. That's it. And therefore matter is created and matter gets destroyed. We are no more than a chemical bundle. Everything is finished at the time of death. Niranjan Pro, can you read it?
Yes, Prabhupada.
Spiritual viewpoint. Yeah.
We are not the material body of flesh and bones.
Okay.
We are spirit soul encased in the material body. We do not die when material body stops to function.
Yeah. So this is what the spiritual viewpoint of Bhagavad Gita. We are not the material body of flesh and bones. We are spirit souls engaged in the material body. If you see carefully, the spirit soul is same. It doesn't change. It has the same constitutional position. But the external body machine is changing. For example, somebody who's very, very poor, he may just afford a cycle. Somebody is little well-to-do, he may take a bike. Somebody is little not well-to-do, he may take a Luna or a scooty. Somebody is very well-to-do, then he may get a car. Much more well-to-do, then he may have his own helicopter. Much more than that, he may have his own plane. So like that, based on one's ability, one can take different bodies, accept different vehicles. Similarly, based on one's desire and based on one's past activities, one gets a particular body. But the driver in all the bodies is same. It's only the misuse of the free will by that particular soul which directs it in a particular body based on one's law, based on what thought he is remembering. So unseen driver of the bodily car, like the car we see, inside the car there is the driver, So similarly, when we see our body, we see with our eyes. Similarly, when the car is going, the car uses headlight. And when it comes to sound, the car uses horn. We use our mouth. When it comes to engine, when it comes to energy, the car uses its engine, V engine, and then our energy in the body is produced by the heart. When it comes to movement, the car uses wheels, we use our leg. And when it comes to the movement of the car, till the time the driver doesn't enter the car and puts inside the key, the car will not budge an inch. So body is termed dead without the presence of the driver, the soul. Similarly, as soon as the soul moves out of the body, we call it is dead, clinically dead. Therefore, yes, Hariom, can you read this one?
Just as the bird is trapped in the cage, the soul is trapped in the body made of five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether.
Yeah. Just as trapped in the body, bird is trapped in the cage, the soul is trapped in the body made up of five elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Similarly, not knowing the real identity as a soul, the people spend all their life in polishing the cage, pampering the body without feeding the soul. Like this old woman, she's trying to pamper, clean the cage, but if she stops feeding the parrot dies. Similarly, the reason for yesterday's session, why people are searching so much happiness, happiness is inside. They take care of the body, they do everything for the body, they get best of the clothes, best of the academics, best of everything. But when it comes to the soul, they stop, they never feed anything to the soul. So we just now saw we are something much more than matter. And what is the difference between a soul, a spirit, and matter is that spirit undergoes six changes. When there is a concert happening, a drama happening, there are many people. People are sitting, judges are sitting on the right side. There is cameras on the left side. And when the
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
so when judges are trying to see this
Tell me what to do.
performance, they get emotions, they can value, they can rational, they can give decisions. So the camera may just record the whole thing, but it can't conclude who will win the prize. But when judges are sitting, they can experience emotions, elation, sorrow, anger. Based on that, they can mark it. They have no, the camera is not having consciousness, but the judges are. Human beings are conscious. The living beings are conscious. They can't judge, but they are able to judge. Similarly, when one of the reporter came to Swami Srila Prabhupada, and he came and asked that he was speaking of Bhagavad Gita and the concept of not the body or something, we are something beyond the soul, body, that soul. Then he asked a question, Swamiji, I think our body is just a complex machine that gets worn out and crashes. Why should we bother about some soul powering the body? That means he was just telling that like we are like a car, but then why we should bother with the driver? Let's see what Swamiji replies to the Prabhupada. Yes, Abhijit Prabhu, can you read the answer?
Does your car or a computer grow? Do you have a male and a female car that you can unite and produce a baby car?
Yeah,
A living body undergoes six changes, whereas matter just depreciates. It is the soul that makes living body alive.
yes. That means we are able to see here one big car on one left side, left blue car. They're like mother and father. But do they produce a baby car? No. You may call the body as a machine, but there are many more machines. There are many more machines, but the machines when they come together, they never reproduce a tiny machine. But our body is able to produce so many living beings. All the trees when they give the grains, there are so many trees, so many trees growing. So humans when they come together, they produce. Therefore, all the species they produce. Therefore, the body, The living body is not just a machine, it's something beyond machine because it has emotions, it has relations, it can experience sorrow, it has relationship. So three major differences between a living body and a robot. A living body undergoes 6 changes while matter only dwindles. A male and female living body can multiply similar species. Machines can't reproduce by union. And living body has consciousness, thinking, feeling, willing. And matter has no consciousness. Hmm? So there are 6 changes. We can reproduce living beings, and we are living beings can think, feel, will, and they have consciousness. So what are the 6 changes which makes the living being different from the non-living? Whatever species, 84 lakh species according to Vedic literature. First change is that we come in this world by birth. Birth is the first change. After that, we grow. Then the third is maintenance. We continue and we grow till 20, 25 years, then we continue and your height remains at a particular height. And then we production of byproducts. And then we dwindle. We start deteriorating. And then when we die, we leave this body. So what are the 6 changes? Sandeep, can you read what are the 6 changes?
The first one, birth, second, growth, third, maintenance, fourth, production of byproducts, fifth, dwindling, sixth, death.
Thank you so much. So therefore, there are 6 changes. We should always remember this logically. The non-living being will have only creation. It will stay for some time, it will get destroyed. But the living being, if you see this trajectory of our own body, there is birth, slowly grow. At the middle age, we become almost 25, 20 to 25 years, we have a particular height. And slowly our height starts shrinking. We produce some byproducts. That is, we produce children, or then when we eat food, and then we inject waste material outside. Then slowly the body starts deteriorating, we dwindle, and then we leave our body. The soul is covered by a gross and subtle covering. So what is the difference between how many stages a non-living body has? It has only 3 stages. It is created, it stays for some time, for some 20, 30 years, and then it destroys. It cannot react. If someone slaps us, then we go and want to defend ourselves. But the non-living being, when you take an axe and hit it, it gets cut into pieces. It never reacts. But why we react? Because there is soul, is covered by soul and gross and subtle covering. So our body, when we analyze, our bodily structure is like we are wearing an outside coat in cold, then there is an inside shirt, then there is a body. Similarly, the soul is covered with gross body. The gross body which we see, जो हम देख पाते हैं एक दूसरे को, उसको स्थूल शरीर बोलते हैं. That is made up of what? It is made of earth, it is made up of water, it is made up of fire, it is made up of air, it is made up of ether. So Panch Mahabhut. So it is the material which we see. In the beginning slide we saw the body is just made up of these chemicals. So that gross body is just made up of this kind of things which we can touch and we can feel. It's called stool sharir. Inside the gross body, there is subtle body, or astral body. And what is the composition of the astral body? It is made up of mind, it is made up of intelligence, it is made up of ego. It is called a subtle body. For all of us, we know we have been using laptop, we have used smartphone. The smartphone, there is external cover, there is a casing, and inside that there is a memory card in which all the data is stored, and in that memory card all the apps are installed. And till the time the smartphone doesn't get a SIM card, it will not show any network. You can't contact anyone. So similarly, this our body has gross body, which is external covering. It has subtle body, which has all the memory and all the thought process working. And then inside that there is a soul. And the soul, what is the composition of the soul? It wants to always remain forever, eternal. It always wants to remain end forever, that is eternity. It wants all the knowledge of the universe, that is knowledge. It wants to always stay happy forever, that is called as bliss. So that's eternity is called Sat, the knowledge aspect is called Chit, and the Ananda aspect is called bliss. Bliss is called as Ananda. The constitution of the soul is Sat, Chit, Ananda. So here we are coming to a very important point. We saw the soul never gets slain, the soul never gets dried, soul cannot be cut by any weapon, soul cannot be murdered, soul cannot be touched by anything of this world. On the other hand, the gross body is burnt, the gross body is buried. So, my question to all of you, so when we undergo pain and pleasure in our life, the gross body is dull matter, made up of chemicals. So when we take a bunch of chemicals and we hit, does it pain and does it feel pleasure and pain? What all of you understand? So when we take a bunch of chemicals and we start hitting it, does it feel any pain? What is your answer? Can you speak so that yes, any answers? Does
No,
the
Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
okay, no, it will not feel any pain. Okay, fine. If the soul which is spiritual and which is having all qualities of it is eternity, knowledge, and bliss. It never dies. None. We can't burn it. We can't kill it by weapon. So when we feel pleasure and pain. Is it that soul is suffering? Our body is suffering. Who is suffering?
Body.
Okay,
Body.
what is the answer? Who is suffering pain and pleasure? If we are soul, we are called by subtle body and gross body. Soul is untouched by any material thing. It cannot be burnt. It cannot be burnt by fire. It continues even after death. Death is the greatest misery. So only body gets burnt at the time of death. So when we undergo pain and pleasure right now, from childhood till now, so who is undergoing pain and pleasure? Who is suffering? The body, the soul. Soul is eternal. The body is dull. So like you only told that when chemicals are hit with the hand, they never feel pleasure and pain. So who is suffering? What is the answer? Is the question clear?
Prabhuji, subtle body.
Subtle body. Why gross body is not suffering? Soul is not suffering. Suddenly you went to subtle body. Does our body, the physical body made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, doesn't suffer or doesn't feel pain and pleasure? Okay, you have come to the new concept. It's called subtle body. It's something very close, but I want to know what is the reason. Who suffers the pain and pleasure? Yes, anyone else?
Yes, subtle body will suffer pain and pleasure.
What about the gross and body and the soul?
Like gross body is completely of chemicals, so chemical have no pain, and soul is also
Soul is eternal.
like it is
So that is a question.
So it won't.
like eternal and knowledge and blissful. Like it is soul nature is blissful, so how he can like suffer pain type thing.
Yeah, very nice answer. It needs some more understanding. Example, car. We can compare our body to a car, and we compare the driver of the car with the soul. And imagine all of you pass out and then get a good package, and then you go to US, and then get you after going to US and you return back to India, you get a Mercedes Benz. After getting that, you park it. You want to take garland to garland the car and to do some ritual before you start the car. And when you park the car in front of a big playground and people are playing cricket or they're playing something, and somehow when someone hits a six, that ball comes and breaks the windshield of your car. So you are sitting, you have gone to the shop to purchase something, utensils, some things for the ceremony. But when you turn back and see, what will happen to you? What will be your reaction? What will be reaction? Each one of you. What will be reaction You worked hard for 1-2 years and you purchased a Mercedes-Benz car and you parked it, and suddenly you want to take garland and put on the car so that there can be some good auspicious beginning for it. By the time you do that, somebody's playing cricket, a big cork ball comes and hits your windshield. So what will be your how you all of you will feel?
Because you become angry and disappointed.
Did the ball hit you on your head?
No, Proji.
Okay, fine. Very thank you for being honest. Yes, you'll feel and you'll become very angry and become disappointed. I got this new car. What has happened? Yes, yes. Anybody else? Sandeep, Niranjan, what will be your response? Abhijit, you can also share your response because this will make the concept more clear. We just don't want to keep it theoretical. Yes.
Same response, Proji.
What is that same response?
I will feel angry and also disappointed.
Okay, and then what will you do to that ball?
Proji, to that wall, I can do nothing. But to the boy who have like batted it, then I will like to scold him. Or like
You'll try to catch him and scold him. Fine. Abhijit, what you like to do when you come across such a situation in your life?
I will get angry and scold them that guys.
So thank you for the response. Similarly, as the car is different from us, we are not the car. But when the windshield of the car is broken, we become angry because we identify with the car. We have been dreaming to get that car. Although the ball has not hit us, but because we identify with the car has become an extension. And because since long 2-3 years you have been trying to get that dream car. So therefore, by identifying with the car, we feel the pleasure and pain which the car undergoes, although the ball has not hit us. Similarly, because the soul is the driver of the gross body, through the medium of subtle body, it identifies with the car. And because of that attachment with the car, it identifies. For example, imagine all of you are sitting in a car and you're trying to go the same car ahead for a job. And there's very urgent, important meeting. And 5 minutes before the company, there's a big traffic jam. And if you want, other times when you used to go by bike, you used to park the bike somewhere and just run for the meeting. But now the car is there and it's a new car and you can't park it anywhere, because if you park it anywhere, then somebody will take it. So although it's just 5 minutes from their walk, your company is, but will you park the car anywhere? Because so much traffic jam is there, you can't just get out of the car. Why? Because you are not identifying the car. This car is mine. If you are going by a public vehicle, you just get down and just run away. But you are having the ownership of the car, you can't just give it up there. You have to take responsibility for it. So similarly, soul also eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. It identifying, because of its misidentification with the gross and the subtle body, undergoes pain and pleasure. This concept is clear. The gross body is connected to the soul through the subtle body. Mind, what is the function of mind? Mind has previous experiences, unfulfilled desires, and a reservoir of thoughts. Intelligence, it is a decision maker. Discrimination. Ego means when you go in train or when you go in a bus and you have sat on the bus seat, but when you for taking a ticket, you get up. If you are in a train, you want to go and wash your hands. When you get up and go, somebody else comes and sits in the local train. Then you start fighting with him. Oh, I was sitting here. This is my seat. That my thing. This is mine. That is called as ego. So gross body is completely dull. It has no consciousness. And the soul is completely spiritual. It's like, oil and water. When you put in water the oil never mixes. But similarly, the soul never gets mixed with the gross body. But what is that one thing which is trying to keep the soul hooked to the body is our subtle body. And what is the composition of subtle body? It is made of mind, intelligence, ego. For example, when we go to a hotel and we see a gulab jamun, as soon as you see a gulab jamun, mind starts doing things. What is the function of mind? Reservoir of thoughts, unfulfilled desires, and previous experiences. So because it is a reservoir of thought, as soon as your eyes start scanning the gulab jamun, immediately the nervous system connects it to the mind. Oh, you get all sort of thoughts. What are the thoughts linked to the gulab jamun? It is spherical, it is viscous fluid which is very sweet, and if I put in the mouth it will melt in my mouth. And then unfulfilled desire. Last time when I came, I could not have more than one gulab jamun. And previous experience, oh, it is very tasty in this shop. And the moment you start thinking like that, then the next question comes to you, what is that? As soon as you go to hotel, you see gulab jamun in the canteen in your hostel. What is the next step when you see gulab jamun? What question comes to your mind? You have a desire to eat because of previous experience and you want to eat it. But before you make a move to eat it, what is the question you ask to yourself? No questions? Is the question clear? When you go to a hotel and you want to get an order gulab jamun, what is the first question you make? Ask to yourself. At least if I am in your place, I think I'll start asking question. How much money do I have? Don't you ask this question?
Yes, Prabhuji,
Yes,
we
Prabhuji.
will ask this question.
Yeah, that is called as. So now till now, all the experiences of how the shape of gulab jamun is, what is the viscousness, what is the sweetness, everything is coming from the mind. So next question of decision making in our life comes from intelligence. So intelligence is called the discrimination. It's a decision maker. And similarly, when you have money, you have 15 rupees gulab jamun and you want to order 2 gulab jamuns, but there's a big group sitting there and they're ordering many things, which is 1,000 rupees bill. And the waiter comes to you and tells you, wait for some time, and you're waiting half an hour, 45 minutes, and that person doesn't come. Then how you feel? What will be your response? You want to eat a gulab jamun, which is very tasty, the brand is very good, but the waiter is neglecting you and is making you to wait. What will be your response?
Like, I want to leave that place.
Why? Because of ego, because your ego was hurt. I am having money, I have come here to purchase the gulab jamun, but this fellow is not leaving me. Better I go somewhere else and eat this gulab in some other shop. Although the brand is very good. You understood the concept of subtle body, how it thinks? All of you understood the whole mind mechanism? How the mind is the result of all thoughts, previous experiences, and fulfilled desires? How the intelligence is a decision maker, and how ego takes it to itself. So this is a false ego. So right now we are identifying the body. Therefore, soul identifies with the body. That is false ego. So because of this false ego, because of this misidentification, although soul is eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss, but the gross body is dull matter, but pleasure and pain is felt by the soul because of identification with the gross body, because of the ahankar. So ego is called as ahankar, intelligence is called as buddhi, mind is called as man. And therefore, this concept of Bhagavad Gita second chapter is very important for our life, because this is what makes people run from pillar to post. Many times students are big people who are very rich, when they don't go, then when they don't get enough love, then they go into the strip of subtle body. They start imagining so many things. Nobody now loves me, everybody is neglecting me, I'm alone, I'm of not worth. They start shaming themselves, and that can go to the point of committing suicide. And therefore, the whole problem is people are not aware of what this knowledge of soul can give to them. And therefore, what Bhagavad says is, beyond this body, there is soul, and that living being has six changes. And we'll be continuing with the last section of today's session, that is common sense. What are the scientific proofs for soul's existence? Till now, we are just seeing the concept. When someone leaves the body, we often tell in English, he has passed away. But the body is there only. You are able to see this body, the body is standing there. But everybody, why they are so much serious? Why they are mourning? The whole chemical composition, everything the same size. If you see the weight, everything is same. Everything is there. But why people are suffering? Why they are so sad? What is missing? They say someone he passed away. हिंदी में बोलते हैं गुजर गए. अलग different language people do different things. So कौन गुजर गए? तो पूरा शरीर तो वहीं पे है. When a person dies, we say she has passed away. Who has passed away? The body is still there, but actually the soul has passed away. Unknowingly we tell this is called common sense. The second proofs false existence of soul is consciousness. When you see a sunrise, you feel very elated. When you see a sunset, you feel, oh, there is darkness. You may feel sometimes sorrow. And similarly, a camera may see a sunrise and sunset, it never responds. But a human being, when they see a sunrise and sunset, they may be conscious, they may be aware of it, they may think, they may feel, they may will, there may be intentionality. When you go to a very natural place, when the cuckoos are cooing and the sun is rising and it is very, very green, you'll feel a different experience. When you sit inside the bus, which is heavily jam-packed traffic, you'll have a different experience. But you take a camera anywhere, it will not have any, it will just do its things of recording the video. Therefore, we are conscious. Consciousness is a symptom of the soul. For example, in the region of the nail and in the hair, when you touch it, you never feel any pain and pleasure. When you cut it, you don't feel much pain and pleasure. Why? Because soul sitting in the region of the heart, it is spreading blood everywhere, and wherever the blood flows, there is consciousness, and wherever the blood doesn't flow, there is no consciousness. So consciousness means you can feel, you can sense, you can have intentionality. And 11% to 14% of the average American population who are mentally and physically healthy have had out of body experience and near death experience. And therefore, what is it when a person is admitted in a hospital, an operation is being made on it, the soul which is there inside it, somehow because of some conditions, it starts going into the air, and then it's observing who is operating on it. And then after the whole operation, it comes back to the body, and then it starts sharing, okay, we had this experience. Or somebody dies, then it goes to that point of death, then it goes to the point of somewhere, it goes to some strange place, and then it comes back again to the body after some time. People think they're dead, but suddenly again the person gets up. So this is called as near-death experiences. Enough research in near-death experiences with impeccable scientific credentials by Dr. Michael Sabom, cardiologist, professor, Emory University Medical School. So research on eternal soul, 30 years by surgeon Dr. Bigelow. So many doctors have compiled many books based on their experiences, which you will find in this thing.
Germany. Christina's doctors are also losing their battle. Heart will not restart. She has just minutes before her brain too shuts down.
Es wurde Defibrillationsschock
We were trying to jumpstart her heart with a defibrillator.
zum Schlagen zu bringen. Gleichzeitig
We gave her several drugs.
seite mehrere Medikamente. Der Patientin hatte zu viel
The
Blut,
patient had lost too much blood. Her organs weren't getting enough.
wo kein Mensch und ich am wenigsten
We really didn't think we could save her.
erfolgreich sein können.
Because Christina's heart has stopped pumping, many would consider her dead. Yet something seems to be happening with her mind.
Das nächste, was ich wieder weiß, ist, ja, dass ich wohl unter der
Next
Decke
thing I know, I was hovering underneath the ceiling of the room. I could see down on myself laying on the operating table, and I saw the surgeons and heard them talking to each other. The scenario was pretty hectic. I realized that this was about life or death.
To help understand near-death experiences, some researchers focus on the content of these episodes.
A common element that occurs early in near-death experiences is what's called an out-of-body experience. At that time, the person seems to be able to see and hear things going on, but up from the vantage point above their body.
So this is a small video regarding what we just spoke now. And so this is our third proof. That is what is called as near-death experience and out-of-body experience. A lot of books, a lot of videos are available in the market, in the net and other places. A lot of investigation is happening in this direction. So first proof was common sense, second proof was consciousness, third proof is near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences. The fourth proof is reincarnation, past life memories, regression. Ian Stevenson, Carlson Professor of Psychiatry, University of Virginia, has extensively investigated over 2000 cases of spontaneous reincarnation memories. So he has written a lot of books, a lot of cases on reincarnation. According to him, not only he, many reincarnation books are available. One of our senior mentor, Chetan Chakra, has written a book on demystifying reincarnation with many cases all over the world, not only in India. So what is reincarnation? We have seen the gross body, we have seen the subtle body. At the time of death, the gross body is burnt, but the subtle body along with the soul continues. And because I was giving example of the phone has an outer covering, inside there is a memory, then there is a SIM. When the phone gets destroyed, along with the memory and the SIM, if it's put in the next phone, all the functions, all the apps will be installed in the next phone. Similarly, the body is like a covering, the mind, intelligence, ego is like a memory, and the SIM card is like a soul. So when the body is burnt, soul along with the SIM and soul along with this memory, subtle body, it takes up another gross body. For example, when you are seeing India-Pakistan match, and when you come across this match, and there is 1 over and 20 runs remaining, and in the first 3 balls, the Pakistani's batsman, he hits 3 4s, and remaining 3 balls, 8 runs is required. At that moment of time, imagine some of your younger brother comes and snatches the phone and runs away. So what you will do? You'll also run behind him to take the phone back. The same thing happens to the soul. Imagine a robber comes into your room and he takes a phone and runs away. Although it's very risky because you are alone in the room, and if you leave the room without anyone to look behind, anyone can come inside and take all of your property. But still, because that is a momentous time, you'll also at least run behind the robber to get all those credentials, because in the smartphone, all the credentials, bank details, everything is there. Somehow or the other, will try to get the phone back. Same thing happens when the time of death, when the soul has to choose whether to stay with the gross body, whether to stay with the subtle body. All the memories, all the desires, all the thought processes, all the decisions, what it has made, everything has been stored, imprinted in the subtle body. And that is the reason when there's a chance, when the body is burnt, immediately soul clinches to subtle body. And based on that, it goes next to along with the subtle body. Subtle body acts like a plane, and the soul sits on it like a passenger, and it takes it to the next gross body. Therefore, when it comes to the next place, this body is something different. Body B, the second birth, the body A in the first birth. What is the common in both of them? What is common? In 2 births, something is common between these 2 bodies. Titu Singh, who was killed by mafias with a big gun on his head, was again born in the same locality within a year. And he could remember all his past regressions and used to tell people that I shot here, this is my property and everything. So what is that mix? 2 different bodies are there. Body which was born 1945, the body which is born 1980. But how they are able to remember the same facts, identifying the same person? What is common? Which is common? Gross body is common? No. The gross body is dead. What is common? Yes, someone can tell what is common between the 2 people who are born at 2 different timelines.
Their subtle body and their soul.
What? Can you repeat again?
The subtle body and soul.
Very nice, Hariom, bro. Very nice. Anybody else has any other answer? Because gross body is deteriorated, it gets buried or it gets burnt out. So what is remaining common in the next body is that the next gross body, the subtle body and the soul which is in the previous body is common. And because of that, they get all the memory. Therefore, when they go to the next body also, like this Titu Singh who got a next body, he used to fear a lot this guns, and used to always fear that scene which happened at his nearby home. And whenever people start fearing, that's called as phobias. Why people fear? People fear long height. People fear water. People fear something the way they had related to death, mode of death in the past. When they see water, they become fearful. If somebody was killed by bladed weapons, they become fearful by seeing the bladed weapon. When somebody was shot, then they become fearful by fire. Therefore, this is one of the proof for reincarnation, phobias. That means, yes, the soul has undergone this in past. And you see two twins who are having the same body, same DNA structure, same genes and everything, but their whole thought process is different. They are born at the same time also, from the same mother, father. But when you see them, their temperament is different. The difference of temperament in identical twins prove that in both the bodies, it's not just body, DNA, RNA structure, but there's something much more than that. There is soul which is having different prarabdha. Even though identical twins are physically born by splitting of a single egg from the same genetic material, they may have striking contrast in temperament. The difference in temperament is because of two different souls reincarnated in two different bodies that are genetically identical. Dr. and Stevenson. Therefore, we will end today with the fourth proof for soul's incarnation with this wonderful video on reincarnation. A pilot was shot.
Raised in the Midwest, James M. Leininger, a young boy from the Bayou.
Oh, there's something in the eyes. It's undeniable.
That's not all they share.
Somehow James Houston's spirit has affected my son, either through reincarnation. I don't know how it happened.
I can read the Japanese easy as pie.
Initially, what caught my attention was James's extreme fascination with airplanes.
And every night he slept with his G.I. Joe action figures, which he named.
I took him to the Cavanaugh Flight Museum.
Here's home video. While the other kids casually look at the plane, 2-year-old James seems to inspect it. Watch as he checks the underbelly, then climbs inside, donning the headset.
I said, oh, look, there's a bomb on the bottom. He said, that's not a bomb, that's a drop tank.
Bouncing about in the cockpit, James was flying high. That night, their world would change forever.
He started having the nightmares, and that was my first indication that there was something wrong. It was a panic-stricken, terrorized screaming.
Over and over again, James had the same terrible nightmare, 4 to 5 times a week. He was too young to explain the dream, but he could draw.
Bombing ships, you see men parachuting. Here's another one where planes are dropping bombs.
Help! He would just be crying. He'd say, airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out. He laid on his back and kicked up at the ceiling, and he goes, Mama, the little man's going like this. And he laid on his back and kicked his feet up. The little man's going, ooh, 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 can't get out. And I said, well, who's the little man, baby? He goes, me. I thought Bruce and I were just going to faint.
They questioned, what kind of plane?
Corsair.
Why did your airplane crash?
My plane was shot down.
Who shot your plane?
He looked at me like I was a village idiot. He said,
the Japanese. I kept thinking, where's he getting this? I was a stay-at-home mom, so I know that there wasn't anything that he was being exposed to.
Not exposed to in this life, but perhaps, just maybe, somebody else was. Decades earlier, James Houston grew up with the same insatiable fascination with airplanes. He became a naval fighter pilot and fought in World War II. March 3rd, 1945, during a mission near Iwo Jima, he took a direct hit. At age 21, was declared missing and presumed dead.
where did he take off from a boat?
Do you remember the name of your boat? He said Natoma.
Several thousand hits on the word Natoma.
USS Natoma Bay launched into battle, headed for Iwo Jima in the fight for Lady Gulf.
It's the biggest naval battle in the history of the world.
Leo Pyatt served on the ship. From his home in Ohio, he organizes the Natoma Bay reunions. That's how Bruce found him.
I wanted to disprove it. He asked a few questions about, did I know some of the people? Oh yeah, I remember those people. And so he got very quiet.
It was all real. The people and places James described actually existed. And remember those G.I. Joe dolls that James named? Turns out, 3 men with the same names, first and last, served on the Natoma and were killed in action. James said, They greeted him in heaven after his crash.
I'd always asked him, do you remember what your name was? And he always said James. But his name is James.
Yes, there was a Jim Houston, a rather large shell, just hit him in the engine, and it burst into flames and went down.
They showed Leo the drawings.
He was right on the nose. I'm sure, in my mind, that he was there.
Leo invited James, now 3, to the reunion. James recognized several pilots, even called them by name.
You're Bob Greenwald. I'm serious.
He never met Bob Greenwald.
No, he'd never met him before.
And someone else was invited. James Houston's sister, Anne.
And he goes, it's not Anne, it's Annie. She wasn't my oldest sister. I had an older sister than that. And I said, you did? Who is that? And he goes, Ruth. I mean, Ruth.
Annie is what they called me when I was little. Knowing my name and my sister's name, things that my brother did when he was a kid, it's too amazing to describe how he would feel that way, but he does. He considers me his sister.
But does she consider James her brother?
I think it's probably a reincarnation of my brother.
Suzanne Stratford, Fox 8 News.
Okay, so here we just saw this video on this reincarnation, and what you understood from the whole video. Abhijit Prabhu, what you understood from the video when you saw this video? You could see the video?
Yeah, I have seen the video.
So what is the conclusion from the video? What you understood from the video?
Reincarnation is possible in this world.
Yeah. So who
they can get the same memory, and they can come back to the earth.
They can identify.
Like, that boy have same skill. He was a pilot and previous birth. Now he is able to drive that plane, so that he has all types of skill in previous birth and this birth.
Yeah, so that shows that subtle body is same and gross and soul is same. Only gross body has changed, and is able to identify sister, all the co-pilots, and this is one of the things. Thank you so much, Abhijit. Okay, so let's see what Benjamin Franklin has to say. Finding myself to exist in the world, I believe I shall in some shape or other always exist. Those souls who revolted against God were placed here to transmigrate to various species of animals, birds, reptiles. Socrates said when he was about to be killed because of the philosophy, I am confident that truly there is such a thing, living again and living spring from the dead. So this is a case study of Shukla, same like James, and we will just try to skip it. There was one woman who was born. So mechanism of reincarnation, and some more parts are remaining. What happens to us at death? As I told, the gross body gets burnt away, buried away. Subtle body along with the soul is carried to the next body based on what we think. The soul leaves the gross body behind and is taken to another home based on the quality of desire stored in this subtle body at the time of death. And therefore, as person puts on new gut dresses, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material body, giving up the old and useless ones. And that is the reason on what basis the soul avoided the next body. Yam yam vapis param bhavam tejati ante kalevaram tam tam evati kaunteya savakat bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Therefore, life is a preparation and death is examination. Before we leave this body, we should evolve our consciousness. If we don't evolve our consciousness as human beings to know the questions of life, to put full stop to the problems of birth, only death, and death, and to really revive our relationship with God, then according to you see the pictures here, you can see the photos next to them, animals photos. It's like, we in this body, if we continue not as a human being, then surely we are preparing for a very lower species of life in the next birth. We accept one body after another body, depending upon the desires in the mind, as we told, subtle body, whatever skills, techniques like what Abhijit told just now, we carry forward in the next, that is stored in the mind. So desires in the mind, what we want, what we value, and then based on what actions we do, So choices makes birth, our life starts with birth, ends with death. In between birth is B and death is D. In between B and this choice. The choices we make, good work, bad work, based on that we get a particular body. And therefore, we have a right now we can elevate ourselves or by not accepting the laws of God, laws of nature, we can glide ourselves. And therefore we can prepare a very different body in the next. In one form of life, we have got developed intelligence to discriminate and lead responsible lives. But if one engages in simple activities, then it will be very difficult. Therefore, it's very difficult that we should not try to break the laws of nature, break the laws of God to really make life very simple. Otherwise, we'll get degraded to lower life forms because that is a very responsible life we are getting. One form of life is very responsible life. And if you lead a responsible life following religious principles and practicing a pure life by accepting voluntary restraint to get something higher, like in exam times when we stop seeing movies, we stop going outside, we study, so that when you are doing IITG coaching, then so that you can get a nice seat in IITs, IITs. So we do austerity, that's called austerity. So we do austerity for something better life. We do sacrifice, action to please Lord. Then we read books, scriptures, knowledge, we associate with devotees. By that association, we can really understand this knowledge, what we are getting. So by austerity, sacrifice, knowledge, association, we can actually gradually move from the animal inside us can become a very wonderful servant of the God. So then we can eliminate ourselves to the kingdom of God. And this is what is the message of Bhagavad Gita. And further things we'll try to see in the next session. Okay, any questions anyone has? So we are at a junction where we can choose what we can do in our life. And therefore, we being soul now, we have been the whole civilization in such a way that we only take care of our body. But this is knowledge, it's the beginning of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita that we are not the body, we are soul. And therefore, based on the knowledge of the soul, we can have many benefits. We can get positive thinking. We can start valuing life. We just don't see humans as humans. We also start seeing animals also as living beings. We start respecting them. We just don't abuse them. We can help others. We can really save so much of resources. We can utilize the power of meditation techniques to really boost our confidence and willpower. That some more concepts are there, which we'll be covering whenever we meet for this next time. Okay, then we shall end now. If you don't have any questions, if you have any quick questions, we'll answer. Otherwise, we'll end.
Toji, I have one question. Like, as a subtle body move from one gross body to another body, and one of the composition of subtle body is mind, which is like a storage of past experience.
Yes.
So, Toji, why this happen? Only in some case they have a like memory of their past experience.
Oh.
Like as you told in the case of pilot, why it is not in every case? Like if like gross body is moving, then it is common for all.
Yeah. Like there is a subtle body, and whatever gross body experiences of pain and pleasure, it gets imprinted in the template of a subtle body. Like there is a wet cement. You draw a line on wet cement, there's a line. Similarly, whatever pain and pleasure we are experiencing on the body, that gets imprinted into our mind. So therefore, whenever you see a fire, you immediately become fearful. We don't go there. So whenever people meet such extreme accidents, extreme emotions at the time of death, in some cases, the gross bodily pain is transferred or imprinted in subtle body, and that gets reflected in the next life. And there is a reason behind it, and not all of them undergo it. Why? Because if everybody starts undergoing, so for this family, for this son, it's so difficult. His whole imagine you start getting haunts of what you were in the last. Imagine we were somewhere something and we were killed in somewhere by drowning or by some weapon and other things. Your whole life will become very difficult for us to survive. Our whole childhood will go and just simply doing all those things, and therefore it's very important for us that in order to lead a very good life, the nature arranges us in such a way that we don't remember that, so that we can lead our life we continue our life with whatever we have right now. That is the reason such memories don't come to each and everyone, so that we can lead a decent life. But in some cases, it is allowed so that we can get such symptoms like this, so that people can have some trust in reincarnation. Okay, based on the pain at the time of death, a particular living entity remembers it. And more will be discussed in that book called Reincarnation, Session of Reincarnation. More details. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So we'll end now. So we'll meet for the next session. We'll update regarding when it is. Thank you very much.